Hello, bookish friends. Rebecca here, the Dragon Librarian from Farmington Community Library, and my friend Rena and I are here today to talk to you about a couple fantastic books, all by the same author, because I thought it would be fun if we did another author spotlight this week. We haven't done one of those in a while. So the author I really wanted to talk to you about today is Liane Moriarty. So if you haven't read any of Liane Moriarty's books, I'm positive that you've heard of her before because a lot of her books have been turned into TV shows that have been on various networks and streaming sites and things like that. So the reason I'm thinking about her a lot recently is because I just read her brand new book, which I'll talk about at the very end, and it really blew me away. I absolutely loved it. I thought it was fantastic. So I thought, let's talk about some of the other really fantastic books that she has written. So the one I want to start with is 9 Perfect Strangers. And the reason I'm starting with this one is because I think this has been the newest one that was turned into a TV show. I don't know exactly what network or streaming service that it's through. I haven't actually watched it, so I can't tell you what it's like compared to the book. The book was fantastic. Usually Liane Moriarty writes books that would be considered thrillers. I would consider them like domestic thrillers. So they usually have to do with like the inner workings of like a specific family or a specific group of people and their lives and their secrets and things like that, and exposing those secrets. Basically, I think at the heart of a lot of her books is the question, how well do you really know the people that you love, the people that you're married to, your kids, your best friends, like your neighbor? How well do you really know them? And as most of her books prove, not well at all, usually. So 9 Perfect Strangers, like I said, has been the newest one that has been out on a TV series. I think Melissa McCarthy is in it. I think I remember seeing that on one of the adverts, so that's pretty cool. So this is about 9 strangers who all go to this retreat. Some are there for different reasons, like detox, losing weight, things like that. And they start to unravel, basically, these people, and trying to figure out why they're really there. And it's really good. She is, I would like to call her the queen of the domestic thriller, because she puts all these different twists in her books and stories, and you just always, at least I do, I always fall for them. I never see them coming, and I'm always blown away. The other one I want to talk about is called The Husband's Secret. This one, actually, I don't know if it was ever made into a TV show. It's one of her older ones. Another thing I really like about her books is a lot of the covers are just absolutely fantastic to look at. Like, I could sit and stare at this all day. It makes my brain want to explode, but in a good way, if that makes any sense. So this is the story about a young woman named Cecilia, and basically the premise is, what would you do if your husband died and then you found he left you this letter that divulged all these secrets that he had and all these things about him that you had no idea? And what happens, though, if you find this letter before he's actually dead? So you find it while he's still alive, and now you know all these secrets about him. I really love this book. There's another twist. She's just so well known for her twists at the end. Spectacular, that I just absolutely really liked. The first book is that I ever read by her is the one I want to go into next, and that is called Big Little Lies. And I think this is the book that really got her, that made her sort of like a household name, because this show starred a lot of well-known actresses whose names I can't think of off the top of my head. Reese Witherspoon played one of the main characters, and then there were 2 others that... Nicole Kidman, there's one, and I can't remember the other one. But I didn't watch the show past the 2nd episode, and that was just because I didn't think it really lined up well with the book. They changed a lot of things, and I didn't really care for it as much. But it's harder for me to get hooked into a TV show, honestly, than a book. So I really love this. Basically, it's about 3 different characters who are mothers, and their experiences as a mother. One who the father of her child is not there, and they're a little bit less well off than some of the other people. Another mother is very affluent and well-to-do in the community, but she's hiding a dark secret in her marriage. And then there's another one who is just always trying to be this great parent, this great wife, this great mother, this great friend, and things are starting to just kind of fall apart in her life and around her. Another one where the cover is just like, oh my gosh, I just can't even. It's so good. The thing that really struck me with this book, and really with a lot of her books, but this one in particular, is that not only are these domestic thrillers and you can't put them down and they're really intense and very character-driven, fun stories, but they also sometimes really address these issues that are really relevant and important in women's lives, specifically women's lives, everyone's lives, but specifically women's lives. Domestic violence is the one in this one that really shines through. There's infidelity, and you know, it's a lot of things, a lot of deeper issues that will leave you thinking long after you finish the book. I still think about this book, and I read it years ago, and I absolutely love it. It made me think of a lot of things differently, especially about domestic violence and domestic abuse that I hadn't thought of before. And a fantastic book. I love books that entertain me but also keep me thinking, especially, like I said, well after I'm done with it. So without further ado, the new book by Liane Moriarty is called Apples Never Fall. Yes, I have the printout of the cover because I read the book when I first got it into the library, and there's like a bajillion holds on it, so I don't have my hands on the physical copy right now. But I did want you to be able to see the cover, and it's called Apples Never Fall. Not as an exciting cover as some of the other ones, but that's okay. It's still pretty cool. And this is a story about a family. It's this aging mother and father, wife and husband, who are tennis stars. They had a tennis school where they taught tennis, and they were stars of their own. And they have 4 grown children. The beginning of the story is the mother has gone missing, and the father looks super suspicious, and not only his actions a few days after she's been gone, but in his behavior before that. Each of the kids has their own reaction to this and deciding whether they think their father is guilty or not. It goes back and forth between right before the mom disappeared to the present time, so you get some of her insight in what was going on in her mind before this all happened as well. The thing that was super interesting about this book was that this was one of those books where I didn't really care for any of the characters, but I was still super invested in the story. So like the wife and the husband, I really didn't like them very much. I didn't like any of their kids. They were all kind of, I don't want to say snobbish, but they were all just really messed up in their own ways. And I just didn't sympathize or like any of them, but that doesn't necessarily mean you're not going to love the story, because I absolutely loved it. I couldn't put it down. I was so driven to find out what happened with this woman. Did the husband kill her? Is she even dead? Is she just missing? What is going on with this? Who is responsible? And of course, there's the usual secrets in the past and stuff that come out. So this one is a really great book. It's a very hot book right now in the new releases. So keep an eye on this. If you're a fan of Liane Moriarty, definitely check it out, and maybe check out some of her previous books as well if you haven't already. She's got many, many more than just the ones that I talked about today. Well, that's what we've got for you guys today. I hope that this author sounds awesome and these books sound really cool. If so, please feel free to check them out from the Farmington Community Library, and make sure you get yourself on hold for Apples Never Fall. Thanks so much, friends, and have a wonderful rest of the day.